Hey guys, it's Nina.
And Rachel.
And we have a very special guest today, my mommy, Jeanette
Yay!
Quintanilla,
Hi, everybody.
the giver of life. Welcome, Mom. I'm so happy that you're on our show. It's so exciting.
I'm really excited to be here, but I'm going to tell y'all right up front, don't y'all make me cry.
Mom, don't cry.
Crying on
we get emotional without trying. It just happens.
It does. It just happens.
So, Mom, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Golly, that's I don't know. That's a lot to tell, isn't it?
Just a little quick little snippet.
Well, I'm retired. Going on 10 years. And I guess what really matters to me is that now I'm just trying to be the best grandma I can be to my grands and still support my daughters and their family with love and everything else.
Talking us off the edge whenever we're ready to lose it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Mom, tell everyone what you did before you retired.
So I was in the healthcare industry, doing anything. Well, I started off as a lab runner, and then I worked my way up the ranks to an executive assistant, administrative coordinator, and a project manager.
Nice.
And that was with the University of Texas Health Science Center, Houston.
Ooh.
Yes.
That was like 40 some odd years of healthcare, being in healthcare.
Did Benny work? Didn't he work in a hospital also?
He did. We were both working at Memorial Hermann, and he also worked his way up. He was a patient escort, and his last job was working in engineering. And he worked in respiratory therapy as the supply coordinator. And then he got promoted into engineering.
That's crazy.
He did all the handiwork.
I don't know why I thought he was like a maintenance guy afterwards.
No. Well, no. I mean, honestly,
I know he did a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, he did everything.
Yeah.
He did everything.
He was the go-to guy, huh?
Yeah.
And you were the girl.
Besides being the master of the upside down left-handed guitar.
Yes. So, Mom, I wanted to ask, how different is it watching us be parents versus when you were raising us?
The tears are already.
Don't cry.
No,
but
I won't. Well, of course, it seems to me that schools are a little bit more complacent with things that we didn't have to worry about. Even though, like, one of the things I just cannot stand right now is how prominent bullying is in school. And back in the day with y'all, you had your friends and not so nice friends, but I don't remember bullying being such an issue. I think our problem was always with the leadership of the schools, and their non-tolerance of things that were just minuscule compared to what's going on in today's world. But I don't, and we didn't have to worry so much about y'all going down the street and playing with your friends and hanging out and stuff. And now it's like, no, you can't go outside.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. You cannot enjoy outside weather.
Well,
Not
yeah, and then like even
very.
how we would go spend the night and be gone all weekend, and that was a time before cell phones where we could check in or text and stuff like that. And we would literally be gone from Friday after school till Sunday, and we
I
would be
think there
gone.
was, yeah, I think there was a huge trust factor, and so yeah, we wanted y'all to have friends. We wanted y'all to experience life to a degree. And but
Yeah,
you
we
know,
ran with that.
yeah, I look at today, and I feel so badly for parents that have to deal with things that we just never had to worry about. We never
Mhm.
had to worry about certain things. And
Right. Like even as far as like fire drills, when we would just have fire drills. That's all it was back then, was a fire drill. And
how scary
now
is that?
it's active shooter and this and that and all these different drills that kids have to practice on a day to day, and that's scary.
Well, I'll say something that what grandma used to say: never in my life,
Never in my whole
never
life.
in my whole life would I have thought that I
Right.
would be a witness to this. And it's really a sad thing for the kids. And I don't, and I used to have a thing about homeschooling, and I thought, oh man, these kids, they don't have any kind of social interaction.
Hmm.
But I don't now, I just don't blame the parents for wanting to keep their children protected
Hmm.
like that. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's I think that that's probably the biggest fear in parenting. You can deal with the simple things of not doing your chores, or picking up after yourself, or not eating your food when you're supposed to. I mean, those are just many little things that parents deal with.
But the fear of having to send your kid to school is a big
Yes.
one.
It's
Yeah.
huge. It's
And I
huge.
think it goes back to what you
And
said
then
about
you
the
want
trust.
then you're, when you know better, your anger, surfaces, and you don't want your kids to see you on that level, but then you can't help it because you're going to mama bear protective,
Mhm.
Yep.
mama bear protective mode, you know,
Yep.
or daddy bear, you
Or
know.
daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the whole I don't cuz it's interesting that you were saying that about the trust thing is cuz yeah, y'all used to just have to trust the friend's parents or whatever that they would take care of your kid all, while they were gone the whole time. And now I don't trust nobody besides the people I know to take care of Jeremy, and I'm not I don't know. It freaks me out to let him go somewhere. Like I know in the future when he has friends and wants a sleepover or whatever, that scares me. I'm like, I don't know. Because
Well,
I
and I'm going to tell you,
go
I
ahead.
mean, I'm just going to say this, that as a mother of, I won't say how old my girls are, but as mature adults and mothers themselves, you still worry. You
Mhm.
still, that will never ever go away with who are you with, who do you trust, and that sort of thing. Are they really going to look after you?
Yeah.
So it never ends. So
At
it's
a
a
certain point too, I think that as a child, as your child, becoming an adult, those roles kind of flip almost too, because when you go places and when you're going out of town and when you're doing stuff, I'm like, Mom, please be careful, stay with your friends, check in. I think that that's so funny that it makes a full circle and comes back around.
Well, I tell you, that sure
Mhm.
makes me feel good. So, to
Yeah.
know, because if we're not looking after each other, who's going to look after us?
Absolutely.
And I think that goes the same with the kids. They have to know that you're going to always be there for them, regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless.
So did you ever think that you would have all these grandbabies?
I honestly didn't. I honestly thought like Christian was going to be it, you
Yeah.
know,
Really?
and so, and he was, of course, the boy that me and your
Y'all
dad
didn't have.
have.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, but I never thought. And then, like, it wasn't just one, then it was another one, then it was another one, then,
Yeah, because it was like, because it went from 1 to 3.
all
Yeah.
of a sudden.
All of it, because me and Leisha had Benny and Kai at around the same time. So it was like 1, now 3, and now 4, and now 5.
I know, and it was like, okay, so then Christian, and then Benny, to have a little baby girl, and then of course, the fact that she was named after your dad, and then it was like, oh my God, she's just so special. And then Kai came along, and he's just this with that little husky voice when he was little, and and then Jessie came along, and just the special little girl that she is, and then Gabe, and then I mean,
Yeah.
every single one of them just seemed to come in at the right time in our
Hmm.
lives,
Yeah.
and what a blessing! And I am absolutely blessed, absolutely blessed.
Yeah. I know it.
I,
I always think like I never, I never imagined myself being a mom. I always thought I was gonna be the cool aunt, and I am the cool aunt,
well, yeah, you are.
um, but I never saw myself having my own kids. I always thought I was gonna be like you, out, doing stuff and traveling and seeing music, and I that's just the way I saw my life.
That's exactly what my thought was, too. That was my plan, was not to have children. I love y'all to death, but the plan was not to have children. And I that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to experience life. My this was my dream. My dream was to be a photographer, and to get what do you call it, the Scooby-Doo van, and just travel and experience life taking pictures. But then I met your dad, and but me too, I was like the cool aunt. I
Yeah.
took care, Jeannie and Londi had their kids, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm gonna just smother them with love. And then I met your dad, and he just adored the girls. And then, the boys came along, and I mean, that was the plan.
Yeah.
God had other plans in
Yeah.
store.
I know. So tell us a little bit about that. What was that like when you found out you were pregnant with me?
Oh my gosh. Well, I tell this story because, your dad, when I met him, of course, was from Waco, but I didn't meet him until I had
Y'all
moved to
both were
Houston.
here.
We both lived here in the same neighborhood, like grew up in the same neighborhoods in Waco. And then I moved to Houston to, of course, support my sister, who was in a early, in a pregnancy. She was by herself, although she lived with family, but she wanted me to come and take care of her, which that seems to be my nature, is to just take care of people.
Mhm.
And so I met your dad through our mutual friends that I was living with, my best friend. And
But y'all
so
both met here in Houston, not
we
in Waco.
met in Houston, and then as we got to talking, we were in the same circles, and we knew the same people. And your dad was full-time musician. That was his dream. And so he's like, when it started getting serious, he was like, okay, I don't want to get married. I said, me neither. I don't want kids. Me neither.
Oh,
We all had the same, like, let's just live life,
yeah.
so we did. And then about 2 years into our relationship, we had been living together, and he said he wanted to get married. And I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. We agreed on this. We agreed that we were not going to get married. And he said, no, we can't continue to live like this. I want to be blessed by the church. and I want us to get married.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I said, well, okay, we can do that, because I knew in my heart that I would never find a love like your dad's.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was going to be forever. So I said, okay, well, let's do this. So we did. And we got married and everything was great. And then he was going in and out of bands. He was in a reggae band. He was exploring. He had his own band and top 40 kind of, music. And then he did reggae, and then he decided he wanted to start his own band, which he thought it was a great idea, and it was, and they were fabulous to have an all-girl band backing him up. And so we had a garage that he converted into a little practice studio, and they were practicing one night, and I had found out I was pregnant. And so I called Mom, and I was crying, 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 crying. And she was like, Mija, tell him. He's going to be so happy. And I was
Oh.
like, no, because this is what we didn't agree on, and he wants music, and I don't want that to hold him down. So he came in from practice, and he saw that I had been crying, and he said, what's wrong? And I said, I can't tell you. Yes, you can. Tell me. You're scaring me. And so I told him, and he was ecstatic. He
Oh.
was so happy. And he ran out and told the girls, and the girls came in, and they were just so happy for us. And and I was just like so in shock. And so anyway, that was how he found out I was pregnant with you.
Oh.
And
That's
so I
great.
know. And so it was a great, it was great. It was a happy moment for us. And, but the scariest thing for me was I didn't have my family's support. And, that being alone, not having the kind of support that our family has always given to each other, it was a scary time for me, because although I was there for my sisters and their kids, I was new to feeling a baby in my tummy, and you know
Yeah.
going through that. And then luckily I worked with best people ever, and my boss was a OB-GYN doctor, so
Oh.
he would let me take naps during my lunch break, and he was just great. But then when I got pregnant with Alicia, man, Nina was just a toddler, and I was getting my shape back. I was feeling myself. Okay, I was down on the weight, lost all the baby fat, lost it all, and I was just feeling so good. And I was all of a sudden just got so deathly ill. And my bosses were so concerned for me. It had been a week, and I just could not go to work. And they said, you need to come right now. Come right now to the emergency room. And that's where I worked at that time. So Benny took me, and my boss comes in there, and he goes, well, Jeanette, I have some good news and I have some bad news. And I said, okay. He said, the bad news is that you do definitely have a virus, and we're going to have to pump you full of fluids because you're very, very dehydrated. But the good news is you're pregnant. And
Aw.
I said, oh, no, no, sir. No, Dr. Hefner, I am not pregnant. And he said, Jeanette, you're pregnant. I said, And I pulled out my arm and I pointed to my vein and I said, take the blood work. I'm not going to go on a urine test.
My
He
good.
said, okay, but I'm letting you know you're pregnant.
Oh my God.
So they came back with the blood test, and he goes, well, Jeanette, you know what? He said, we did the blood work. And guess what? You're still pregnant. I just looked at him. I was in such shock. And Benny was there with Benny was there, and he had gone to pick up Nina from his brothers, who was taking care of her. And he comes back, and they tell him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so exciting! Oh my gosh, we're gonna have another baby!" Oh, he was so excited. And
Aw.
so anyway, that's how my pregnancy started with Alicia. Was I was just so sick, and it just reminds me of how her pregnancies were. She was so sick. Nina was just such a trooper with her pregnancies, and so they're night and day,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's how I came into motherhood.
Oh my goodness.
I love those
How
stories. Those are
It,
crazy.
it was I had both surprises, but both in my both very different girls. But I see them as mothers, and I'm just so amazed at how they are so different. But I'm just so proud of how they're raising their children. And Nina, with all boys, oh my gosh, I don't know how she does it, but I'm just, and
I,
those boys are the sweetest. Oh, they're a handful, but they are the sweetest and gentlest, just the sweetest boys. And then
they were
Alicia's kids are just, yes, and then Alicia, and her kids, she is just, I mean, they adore her, and she, like, again, I say they both have their styles of parenting, but I am amazed at how well they have raised their children, and I just see them being so successful, because I know that they are seeing the mistakes that they did as children
Mhm.
and young adults, that they're going to make sure that their children don't do the same,
Yeah.
but
do
yeah,
every
I'm proud of the mommies they are. What was that, Rachel?
I was saying we try our hardest to make sure they don't make the same mistakes, but sometimes
Oh yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I respect, I totally, and they can tell you both, there's a lot of times I want to jump in and say, hey, but then I say, you know what, I know my place as a grandmother, and when they're away and they're you, then it's, when grandma time steps in. But I definitely respect their parenting rules, and that I can't allow myself to interfere and to cause confusion,
Mhm. That's a good point about like grandparent interference, like you said, is that which I'd never even really thought of before, but like if mom and dad are saying one way, but then grandma says the other way, that would cause confusion for the kids. And
Yeah.
that could be.
Well, and that's how it was with Christian. And it's still kind of that way with Christian because I was so young.
Mhm.
um Christian sees mom as mom, and he saw dad as dad. And so there's been times where I'm like, he's like, well, grandma said, and I'm like, that's fine, but I'm your mother. You know what I mean? So, and
Mhm.
that's only been with Christian, and I really think it's because we grew up together. You know what I mean? Christian and I grew up together, and he is like a brother to me almost. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm sure if people see us out in public, they would think he was my brother, and so it does take an effect on the children when there's no line. But like mom said, she does that in her own little private time. So like, let's just say one of the kids got in trouble, she's gonna be like, come over here, let me, what did you do, we gotta chill, don't upset mom. And it's helpful to have that backup, you know what I mean, because
Yeah.
she's still backing us up, but without interfering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to have that, and to have that understanding with your parents so that they can, because like when I go to Cynthia's, I just keep my mouth shut, because that's where they have their snacks, and they're spoiled, and they're this, and they can have whatever they want over there. And so I'm just like, you know what? This is their time with their grandma. We're at grandma's house. This is what happens at grandma's house. So they're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to do and have whatever they want to have when we're having that visit. It's the same thing when we go to Waco. Like if mom wants to take them and treat them and do something, they can go do that with her, but it's very important to have that, as they're growing up, because once they're old enough to start pushing their limits, that's when they start using grandma, and like, oh, well, grandma said, oh, well, dad said, oh, well, you know what I mean? So like right now, Gabe is like that. Like him and Perry, they play and they pick at each other. And one day, Gabe was in the tub, and I told Perry, because I was cooking dinner, I said, can you go get Gabe out of the tub? I already washed his hair. I washed him up. He's ready to get out. So he goes and he tries to get Gabe out of the tub. And Gabe's like, I don't like you. I just want mom. And so I was like, baby, that hurts daddy's feelings when you say that. Like, you need
Uh-huh.
to let daddy help you, because I told daddy to come get you.
Right.
And so then it was like, well, and he just gets in a certain little way, but it's because they have that little, they mess with each other,
Mhm.
So it's just, I think that it is important to know how to stay in your lane, you know what I mean? But still respect that grandparent time, you know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
do want your kids to be spoiled by their grandparents, you know what I
Well,
mean?
of
Like
course.
there's
Yeah.
everybody wants their kids to be spoiled by their grandparents, like I'm 41 years old, and I still fight with my cousins that I'm the favorite grandchild of my grandmother. Like, I know I'm the favorite. I am the favorite. I'm sorry, family, if you're listening, but I'm grandma's favorite.
Well,
But the thing about it is, with that, is that my grandma loves all of us to the so extreme that we
Uh-huh.
literally all believe that we're the favorite,
and that's the way
because
it
she
should
loves
be.
us that much. You know what I
And that's
mean?
the way it should be, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know I think that when, okay, like I never thought I was going to have children, but my love for my daughters is immeasurable. I cannot say I love Nina more than I love Alicia. I love them both, and I support them both, and I do for both of them. And it's on the same level, but it's in different ways,
Right,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
because we're two different
So
people.
because you're two different people. And so, my love, it's amazing. It's amazing when you think of your heart and that organ that it is, that you can't possibly have any more love, but you end up having more than enough love to spread over your family, whatever umbrella that is. And mom has 6 children, X number of grandchildren, X number of great grandchildren, and great grandchildren.
Mhm,
So, but you would never know
mhm.
that she favors any one of them,
Yeah.
because her love is so vast that you can't even comprehend that, having that much love in a little bitty 4'6" body.
Tiny.
Everyone knows that I'm the favorite, so it's okay.
But what I was going to say, going back to grandparenting, is that like, it, when because I'm in an unusual situation, not really unusual, but I'm blessed that I can live here with Alicia and Londo and the kids, and I can see them every day, and I can, contribute to being that person that they can rely on, for this and that and the other. But like when I'm here and the kids' parents are here, Alicia and Londo are home, they come to me and say, Grandma, can I have a snack? And I'm like, oh no, because mommy and daddy are here. When
Mhm.
mommy and daddy are here, then everything goes to mommy and daddy. When grandma's here by herself, then you come. Or if they say, Grandma, can you, I want to do this or whatever, I always refer back to the parents, because I'm staying, like Nina says, I stay in my lane. I
Mhm.
stay in my lane because I don't want to be intrusive on their parenting time with their children. And so, yes, when they're with me, I do the same things. I ask them how their day is and how their day went. I do all, how, what did you have for lunch? And they all take turns telling me,
Oh,
and and they talk over each other, and I have to correct them. It's her turn first, and so I have my own little course
Way
that
with
I'm
them.
on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so anyways, yeah, it's a blessing to be involved in your grandchildren's lives, regardless of the extent. But I think that, respecting parents, their parenting skills is so, so important. And,
mhm.
and just be supportive of them.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
had, okay, wait a minute, real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Had our chance to raise our children. Now we have to allow our children their chance to raise their own. And you would hope and pray that some of the things that you instilled in your children are become a benefit to them raising their own.
Mm,
I did a lot of things that I wish I could change, but overall, I feel like I did the best that I could without my mother there, without my sisters there, without me having some kind of a mentor,
mhm.
leading me the way, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm. That yeah, I agree. I like that. That the way you said, you hope that your parenting, that you did a good enough job that it trickles down, and that they'll take the good things you did and pass those along. I like that.
I do every day. Every day when I send the boys off to school, the little mantra that we say, mom would always tell us, be the best that you can be. Every
Mhm.
day she would tell us, be the best that you can be the best that you can be. Just do your best. And every
Mhm.
day that's what I tell the boys, be kind, make good choices, be the best that you can be, and don't have a good day, have a great day. And you know, um I think that too, you don't realize the things that stick, and like that one is one. And then always, like, I'll tell Perry, or I'll tell Christian or Kai, if I ask them to do something and they're huffing and puffing, and I'm like, okay, forget it. If you're not gonna do it with a happy heart, don't want it. I don't
Mm,
want it. I don't want your help. Nope.
Don't
And that's
do
what mom would always say, is if you cannot help me with a happy heart, I don't want your help. Like,
mhm.
I'm good. I'll handle it by myself. And it's so true, because if you think about it, like, let's just say you're cleaning your house, you're doing a reset, and you
Mhm.
have your kid helping you, but they got all this ugly energy that they're using, and it's filling your house up
Mm,
with that
exactly.
energy,
Yeah.
mhm.
and so it's true, like you shouldn't do things without a happy heart. You should always feel like, okay, let's get this done, we're gonna feel great after it's all done you
Mhm.
know um
Well, I'll tell you another reason why I would say that, and I would try to get y'all involved with house chores, or in keeping the house clean and whatnot. It was because y'all were growing up and doing your own things with your friends, and we were like coming and going, with going to go hear your dad play, supporting him at gigs and that sort of thing. So when I said, well, will y'all come and help, and then the huffing and the puffing, it's like, would please don't do it if it's going to upset you. But that to me was my way of saying, let's spend some time together, and then the result of it is going to be a clean house, and you've accomplished something together,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was always my little way of saying, well, can you come and do this, or can you? But if you're going to do it, then you're defeating the purpose of not doing it with gladness,
Mm.
because, and then too, scriptural saying is honor your mother and father, so
Yeah.
you can have long days of your life, so, it was, it, instead of saying, I want you to do this, you do it, and you say, oh, okay, mom, I'll do it. But
Well, and then
I'm
that
glad that
really,
that's been instilled in y'all.
well, and
You
then
know?
it kind of makes me sad because, had I known you were just trying to spend time with us, I would have just got up and did it. Oh my God, I'm so sad. All I want is my mom these days. Like, mom, I need you. And, it just, now I'm going to cry. But I think that we just take for granted the time that we have. And, there's so much that you wish you could go back and redo. But I think that it's, as we grow, we learn and we see these things and we see the hurt that we've caused or the happiness that we've brought. And it just, you never know what people are trying to do with, like, it's just so deep. It's deeper than cleaning your room
Right.
or coming and helping me wash the dishes. You don't realize that. And when you said that, it made me realize that whenever I ask for help around here, that is what it is. Like, I just want them to be with me and help me, and let's do it together, and so we can all be happy together once it's done. And I never realized that was something I wanted or needed until you said it, and it was just like, oh my God, that is so true. Like, I never really realized that.
Well, and two, like uh, spending time with my mom has become a priority to me because I was away for so long, 40. I moved to Houston when I was 19. And so now I'm 67 and I've been here for 10 years. And my thought was always that and Benny knew this. When we get retired, we're moving back to Waco and I want to help take care of my mom. And I didn't know that, really how much I had missed my family, my siblings, my extended family, my nieces, my nephews, and everybody in between, and I missed out on a lot. So coming back to Waco unexpectedly after I retired, you know, then everything else started like, man, like there's so much that I missed of my mom and her health, and now all I want to do is eat. I was just telling her yesterday, I said, mom, I said, how many times a day do I call you? And she said, don't know me, I like 2 or 3 times a day, you know. And so now, it's like if I don't talk to her, I feel like a big chunk of me is missing,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so now we do Bible studies together twice a week. I go over, when I'm not when in my free time during the day when I'm not working, and it's like we can't spend enough time together, and so I think about me being absent from Nina and not being there, and then me being here for Leisha, and then that puts guilt on me, But I talk to Nina,
Yeah.
and I talk to her, and I just say, okay, Mija, just bring it on, just let me know what's going on, and
Mhm.
I just sit here and I listen. If that's the best thing I can do as a mother,
Yep.
then I feel like I'm doing stuff. But then I remember, golly, where would we be? And I'm sorry I have to say this, but where would we be if Benny were still here?
Yeah.
Because when Benny passed, I had to take on the role of mother and father
Mhm.
and try my best to fill the gap. And then I think, golly, am I my daughter's friend? Like Benny was, to them. And I think, well, you know what? I may not be the best person all the time, but at least I'm here present. And when they need me, they'll let me know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and that's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard carrying. And I think, golly, how do these single mothers do it?
Yeah.
It's so, I give them their kudos, their props for raising their children, and and they had their dad, for 20 years, but
Mm.
still in all, it's hard, trying to be there for everything and trying to fix problems that you can, and trying to come up with solutions that are beneficial, and sometimes it's just too hard.
Yeah.
Mhm. It is hard.
Mom, how old were you when you had to leave? When you went to Waco and you had to leave us for a little while?
um you mean when grandma got sick,
When
or
you
when
got sick?
when I left? um well, mija, y'all were 5 and 3. You're
Were we
talking.
really that young?
Yes, yes.
No. We're no, I think we were older.
When
Or
we moved
maybe
to
I'm
Waco.
no, Mom, when you had to leave and go to Waco by yourself
Okay,
when you were sick.
when I got sick,
Yes.
y'all were in school.
Yeah.
Y'all were in high school.
And what happened?
Well, being being a mom and not being able to do everything that was being asked of me, and being, a supportive wife, it got to be too much. I couldn't. I finally realized that I just could not do it anymore. I couldn't make anybody happy no matter what I tried. There was a lot of demands of me, and then it was making everybody mad at me. And I felt like, golly, all I'm doing is the best that I can.
Yeah.
Um, Everybody was being fed, everybody had all their needs, the material needs met, but it just still wasn't enough. And I just finally said, I got up one morning for work, and I couldn't move anymore. I was in the bathroom crying uncontrollably, and just like with all of my being, I just
Yeah.
could not stop crying, and it scared your dad. And I thought, well, golly, is this what I have to do to get attention? But I was in a very sad, deep depression, and I didn't realize it. And I just didn't realize it. And so, I felt like, I hate to even say it, but it was on the verge of suicide. And because I thought, well, if I'm gone, everybody will be happy because I'm making everybody miserable right now. And um, so luckily, I mean, I know that my journey has been blessed. I know that everyone that I've been in contact with in my journey, my life journey, has been put there purposely. And so when I called my job to tell them I couldn't come into work, I couldn't even speak. And my supervisor recognized it immediately. And she said, "You are going to the hospital right now. I am calling the doctor that treated me directly. We're going to make arrangements for you." And Benny took me to the hospital, and all my friends were there, and they were just, it hurt me to see the hurt in their eyes, because they knew the kind of person that I was, and all I've ever tried to be is a good human being. And I think working in the health care profession exposed me to a lot of different things, but I recognized where I was in my life, and I was really, really hurting inside. And so they took excellent care of me, but the doctor had to tell your dad to leave the room because I was not telling him what was wrong. And he knew it. The doctor knew it.
Yeah.
He said, your mind, your brain needs a break, and I cannot let you go without knowing that you are not going to go home, that you're going to go somewhere else, and you're going to have to take a mental break. It's too much. He said, and guess what? He said, your family's going to figure out that they are fine, that everything that they're demanding of you is unreasonable, and they're going to do just fine. And I said, no, 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 they need me. They need me. He said, they may need you, but you need you. And if you don't get well, then you're not going to be good for nobody. And so I don't know, I don't remember, but all of a sudden my mother and my siblings, Jody and Blondie and Jeannie, they were all there. All of it. I don't even know how. I don't remember calling them, but I know that they were there in the hours.
Yeah.
And I think I was gone for 2 weeks. And
Man, just 2 weeks. It seemed like a lifetime.
hey, it seemed like a lifetime to me, because you know what? And it's sad to say, because depression does run in my family.
Yeah.
And so I saw my mother go through it, my grandmother go through it. And so, I never thought that I would. I just thought I was, this big bad person, that just could carry the whole world on their shoulder. And yeah, and so what happened was, after I'd been there for a while with Mom, Jeannie came over and she said, this is not you. This medicine is taking over you. You are worse than what you were when you got here. You cannot do this, sister. And she said, this medicine is just making you into a vegetable. Because I was like, what is it, in Ferris Bueller, catatonic,
Yeah.
it's Cameron,
Yeah.
just sitting there, you know. And I felt myself like I was looking on the outside, looking in. It wasn't me. It wasn't my character.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh no, I got to get out of this, and I did. I pulled myself out. And what they say, mind over matter, that really is true. That really is true. But yeah, that was a hard time. But being a mother definitely can suck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it can put you in deep places where you never thought you could be.
Yeah.
But I think that as long as you have a strong partner, that you have family support, that you have a good stable foundation, that you will win those battles.
Yeah.
The Lord didn't make us to be victims. He made us to be victors,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Grandma told me before when I was having a hard time. She said that the Lord didn't build us in fear,
Yeah.
or, like he was ready, and built us ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm proud of you, Mom. And I'm so grateful that you made it past that, and
Well,
I'm so sorry for putting you through so much. Yeah.
Oh,
well, you
you
know
got
what? I mean,
now.
I say this, that you're gonna have arguments with your children as they grow older. You're gonna find no's to be very difficult when you really want to say yes, but in their best interest is to say no. But you're also going to have a lot of victories. You're going to experience so many wonderful again, victories in your life with your children. You're going to see them be accomplished. And I know this, and I claim this. I claim this over my family. I claim this over my daughters. But you know what? No matter what you go through, no matter how many arguments you have, with each other, with me, with you, with Leisha, with me, and Leisha, with me, and you, with whatever, it doesn't even matter, because love conquers all. Forgiveness is everything,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Because, I have always had this in me, my walk, my journey. I have always had the foundation of the Lord. And I know that, hey, He has been my strength. I fought cancer and I won, thanks to the Lord. Thanks to my family for being here for me. But battles are nothing, because love conquers all. Always has, always will.
That's
So
so.
yeah, y'all put me through a lot. And I know that there are still stories that I do not know about, and I don't want to know about them at this time of my life, because, stealing the car in the middle of the night, and sneaking out of the window and all that kind of stuff. Your dad had so much trust in y'all, and
You
I would
remember when
always,
he took my door off the
no, and slept
hinges?
in front of it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
he slept in the hallway and removed my door off the hinges and was like, "I'm gonna make sure you don't go anywhere."
Yeah. And
Oh my.
then you had your sister lying for you and taking up
Ooh.
for you, and then I didn't even know that y'all had a drag out fight in the yard over that darn song that she was mad about.
Oh
I
my God. I
I
remember this. It
you
was what
know
happened. I remember what happened. What happened was Leisha was watching MTV and Tony Braxton was on, and I was leaving. And just to mess with her, as I was leaving, I grabbed the remote and changed the channel and walked out the door. And she ran after me, and I was like getting in my friend's car, and she was like dragging me out of the car, and we were fighting in my friend's car, and she was like, "Get out of my car, you're freaking tripping." And so we were just there, fighting. And oh my gosh, why did I do that to poor Leisha? She
I
was just trying
know.
to chill and watch a
And
video.
watch
Like,
it,
man, I was a jerk to her.
and then you had her lying for you,
I
and
know. And
sneaking out of the window,
that
and
one was really sad, because like whenever I would leave, and let's just say y'all woke up and saw that I was gone, again, no cell phones at this time, so there was no way for her to be like, "Yo, they're up and they're waiting for you." So I would get there and be like, "Oh shit, the lights are on, like they're up." And then she would be, then after I would get it from my parents, then she would give it to me and be like, "Man, you're sorry, I've been worried, they woke up and they asked me where you were, like I was
she
freaking out,
protect
Nina, I didn't know
yeah,
what to
she
do, I didn't know what
protected
to
you.
say." And she
She
would
did.
she would
She
always
protected
have my
you.
back.
She always, and hey, it works both ways.
Sheesh.
But one other funny story is when me and your dad would go sneak off and go have drinks at,
Dinner and margaritas.
what was the place, Casa Lake.
Casa Olay.
And y'all were calling. We were, of course, y'all knew exactly what time we were going to be home, and y'all were calling, and your dad said, "It's the girls." And I was like, "Oh, answer it." He was to go, "Oh no, what if they get mad?" I said, "Let me have the phone." "Yes, me and your dad are eating. What? We'll bring you leftovers." But he would get
Oh
so
my god.
scared, and it's like, oh my God, where at what time in my life did we become afraid of y'all? You know what I mean?
Right.
It should have been the other way around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so don't ever let your children be at that point where you're afraid of them. Okay.
Right.
Right.
That right there is probably my biggest regret, is not putting my foot down and saying, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm
Yeah.
your
Y'all.
mother."
Yeah. And
We
y'all
were
Right.
need that time. Y'all
yeah,
needed that
yeah,
time too.
you know but it's funny because, like you said, you've turned into me. Leisha says at times, "Oh my God, I've turned into you."
Yeah.
And so, yes, I'm gonna always want my pictures with my families. If y'all don't want to be in them, fine. I'm gonna get them with my grandkids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one day you're gonna say,
Yeah.
"Man,
We
when's
should
the
have took
last
them
picture I
pictures.
had with my mom, and
Yep.
all my kids?" And you
Yep.
know what? That's gonna be on y'all. I'm not gonna have no regrets.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Leisha does say it. Oh my God, I've turned into mom with the pictures, or oh my God, I've turned into you with this and
Uh-huh.
whatnot,
Uh-huh.
But I know you say it too. But and this is what I was going to go back to say this. When we were growing up, my mom, every Saturday, we would do house chores together. We would play music and we would do all our chores together. And I think that that's where I got that, where we just felt so connected with each other. And we would sort clothes to take them to the laundromat. And my mom would be waxing our wooden floors and we would tiptoe around her so that we wouldn't mess up her perfectly waxed wooden floors. And so I think a lot about my childhood and how that foundation was built on my mother, because my father wasn't always there. And so, moms, kudos, because y'all truly are the glue that holds the family together.
Yep.
Yeah, dads are there. I give them their props too. But moms truly do hold the family together.
Yep.
Mm.
So we are queens. We
Yes.
are
Yes.
queens. So
Put your
Yes.
crown on.
put that crown on and wear it proudly.
That's right. So, Mom, before we
Yes.
go,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your big thing that you do every year in March. Share, let us all know how awesome you are.
Well, oh my, you know what? Along with going to concerts and doing all, I love live music, and I think that that's really how me and your dad. He was always amazed at my knowledge of music and all genres. So anyway, in March of 15 years ago, I started volunteering at South by Southwest in Austin. And so it was at first a little week. I'd take off vacation from work and go up there, stay with my friends. And now my sister goes with me. And so we have become the sisters at South by Southwest. And we are crew managers. We started a new crew, and that's with photographers and media. So that's right in my lane. So we get to meet all the journalists from Getty and whatever, all the news outlets.
Mhm.
And so we go to movie premieres. We've gotten pictures with, I don't know, Ethan
All
Hawke,
kinds of.
Joey Fatone. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah, you
But
got pictures with Wyclef, freaking
oh
Warren
man,
G.
Warren G, the gangster of them all. Come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who else? I got picture with Star from the Lost Boys.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
she sent me a message one day while she was at South by, and she was like, "Hey, oh my God, I just stepped on this guy's foot," and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And look who it is, and it was Ethan Hawke.
yeah.
Oh my God.
He was
Yeah.
standing right behind me. But me and my sister have used that time to reconnect. I think it's so important, to have those times where, it's just you and your person, and luckily I have two of those people. I have my older sister and my younger sister. And so this time we go to movies, we go to concerts, we go to pop-ups, we go and get all the swag, and we just have that time to work together and experience this awesome festival. And I just love it and look forward to it all the time. So this year at the appreciation party, me and my sister won the award for veteran crew managers
Oh,
and
how
all
fun.
and all our awesomeness. And so they know us as the sisters, and we're referred to as the sisters. We have
Oh,
our own Instagram. You can follow us. I'm behind in it, but you can follow us at Sisters at South by Southwest. And anyway, so we wear hats all the time. So they always call us the Hat Sisters or the Sisters. So yeah, it's a fun time for us. It's a
And
great.
how long is that? You're there the whole time, aren't you?
I'm there for yeah. It's 10 day. No, it's longer than that. It's actually from the
Isn't it like
this year.
15 days?
It's like 15 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
yeah, it's
almost.
like the movies and then they do the music, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, they do education first, and then they do film, interactive, and then they do music. So it kind of overlaps with each other, but
Mm-hmm.
all during those times, you know, it's panels and you know all this awesome people that come and support and speak and of course, you know, I'm going to say my greatest, not greatest because it's one of my highlights, but I got to see Anderson Paak like right here, from here to there. You know, when he first started out, then he blew up. I got to see the Teskey brothers on a teeny tiny little bitty stage. Now they're playing these huge
Arenas.
arenas.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they're just awesome. But yeah, I got to experience that. So it's so much fun. So
Yeah, I've
much
been
fun.
to South by Southwest a couple times, and it's always a lot of fun whenever we go.
Yes, it's so much to do. I
Mm,
just encourage anyone that you want to experience or enjoy supporting the arts. You know, that's one of my favorites. That's one
Festivals
of my
too. So,
favorites. Yeah. Okay, but before we go, there is something that I want to say, and I just want to, you know, you can tell me I'm jumping the gun or whatever, but I read this somewhere, and it reminds me of how crucial it is, and little children's little innocent brains, that you know sometimes you're having a bad day or you wake up in a bad mood and all this and that and the other, and I just want to give this word of advice. And I read it somewhere, but I looked it up because I wanted to know that I was speaking right.
mm-hmm.
But it says that there's a 9 minute rule in a child's life. Okay.
okay.
It's the first 3 minutes when they wake up. It's the first 3 minutes when you've been separated from them, like
Okay.
school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And it's the 3 minutes before they go to bed.
Okay.
So during that time, those kids need to be edified, and you need to speak positive into their little lives. So if they're not, you know, getting whatever, you know, the first 3 minutes they wake up is the time that you should be using to say exactly that. Be
Aw.
the best you can be. I love you. You look so handsome. Oh, you look great. I love what you picked out to wear today. You know, whatever it is to make your and send your child off for the
Aw.
day, knowing that their parents have said these things to them.
Yeah.
And then always, you know, I used to get angry with your dad because he would say, you know, oh, those damn girls, you know, and I would say, don't damn your children. You just spoke a word that is not good. It is not good. And you know, that's my favorite, is to say that's not good. But it's not good, you know, because children do remember these things, you know.
Words hurt. Words
Words
hurt.
are very hurtful,
Yeah,
and
they
even
do.
to adults, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
to always recognize what you're saying to them, because they are little sponges that absorb, and more than anything, your children want you to be proud of them.
Yeah.
They take your words, and they don't want to disappoint, and they want you to be proud of them. So whether they've got huge accomplishments or little accomplishments, they still need to be edified, and they still need to know that they're good little humans,
Yes.
And when they do wrong, hey, you know what? Things happen, but what
Yeah.
did we learn from it?
Right.
What did we learn from it?
Right.
And another thing is that arguing and bickering with each other. Rachel, you're not there yet with yours, but when it comes to, with your sister's children and your son, when they bicker, you need to tell them, I'm letting y'all know right now, that is not a good spirit, and that does not belong in your home. That bickering, you need to stop it immediately, and you need to say, no, this is not good, this is not kind, and this does not show you love each other. And more than anything, that love has to always be present, and they need to learn how to say, I'm sorry, because I'm sorry is the hardest word as you grow up to say to each other. So it has to become a norm, because saying I'm sorry, those are just two little words that hardly anybody says when they're in the wrong.
It's
So,
so true. Yeah.
it is. And you can't just go by love means never having to say you're sorry. Wrong. That's not true. You
It's not.
have to say you're sorry. You
Yes.
have to, you know?
Yes.
So, anyway, go ahead, Nina. What were you going to
That's
say?
beautiful
No.
advice. Thank you.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. All the questions that I was going to ask, you already answered all of them just on your own. So yeah, I'm just so grateful, Mom, to have you as my mom. And
yeah,
I don't know. I'm grateful, and I thank you for talking to us
thank
today,
you
and
so much
for
for being on here with us.
sharing your wisdom, and and I know that we could go on and talk and talk and talk forever, because you have been through a lot. Have you have been through so much, and I'm just grateful that you're still here, and um, I love you so much, and thank you for always being there, and for always answering the phone, and for always talking me off the ledge when I'm ready to lose it, and for teaching me how to be a mom, and for teaching me how to conquer all of the shit that we have to face every day, and I'm grateful for you for loving us so much and so unconditionally, because I know that that's hard to do, and you never still you've never given up on us, and we have, I'm telling you, we put you through a lot. I know I did, and I think
Well,
about I
hey, you
think
know
about the
what?
times when I was at school, and they were having to call you and then getting suspended for showing up high, and just all the things.
It's amazing, because I go back and I think, how did we live so much, like, to go through that day, not daily, but like life experiences, you absolutely learn from them, but also too, the journey that each one of us is on is already predestined. And so, all I can say is that you are exactly where you should be. And, also, again, yes, I've been through a lot, but you know what? I have a smile on my face. I do my best to lay down my head at night knowing that I've been a good person, you know?
Yeah.
And I may not always show it on my face, because I have been told by too many, well, some people, that I walk around with, what we call jetas, and that's faces, ugly faces. But it's not that. It's because sometimes I'm like deep in thought, or I'm thinking, like this or that, and worrisome can write on your face sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that it not only this, but I think that when you see someone like that, when you're a child, when you see someone, and you say, is something bothering you or whatever, and talk it out. But human touch, again, is just so important. So when you see your child like kind of withdrawn or whatever, just embrace them and just love on them, because we do not give enough of that. And I think about the bullies at school and what they're going through, and just like Kai's going through that at school. And I said, when you said you wanted to go and you cause some damage, I'm on the other hand saying, oh no, tell Kai, I think you need a friend. Would you like for me to be your friend? Because you have to reciprocate ugliness with kindness. And that is a hard thing to do, but that's what I look at in my life. When someone treats me badly, what do? I turn the other cheek and I love them unconditionally, because I don't know what their journey's like. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. But if you want to be, beat me up about something, I can take it, because guess what? The Lord is my strength. I'm going to always come out ahead. I am.
Yep.
I'm always going to come out ahead.
Yep.
So, anyways, I love you.
Love
I'm
you.
proud to be you and Alicia's mother. I'm proud to be the mommy Q and the Mama J and the Mama Jeanette. I had so many of your friends, love on me and treat me with the highest respect. And I have to know that that's because I was doing something right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're not like a regular mom. You're a cool mom.
You're cool. You really are, though, and you're so accepting of everyone and so loving, and you've definitely shown that in what you've told us today. You preach love and you show love, and you walk the talk, and it's awesome.
Well, thank you both. It's been a privilege and an honor, really, to be a part of this program. And I have to tell y'all, I am so proud of both of y'all for taking a step and doing these interviews with these. Oh my gosh, these women that y'all have interviewed. I'm just so impressed with their lives and what they're doing. Not
Mm-hmm.
only for their own families, but for the communities that they live in. And this is stuff that people need to hear,
Mm-hmm.
that no matter what you're going through in your life, no matter how you are with your family, that involvement is so important. And and everybody needs to hear this kind of program.
Yes, thank
Thanks,
you.
Mom.
All right.
Well,
Well,
we love you and we thank you again for being on the show. I can't wait for everybody to hear this episode. It might be a two-parter, but we're happy with that. We're happy with that. Like I said, we could talk all day with you, Mom. You have so many stories.
we'll
But
have to do a follow-up after
yes,
South
for
High.
sure. Oh
So
yeah,
who
that'll
I
be a good
met.
one. We want to
So
hear
I
all
can tell
about
you
it.
who I met.
Yes, yes. Well, you have a good rest of your day, Mom. I love you,
I
and
love you
thank you
too.
so much for being on the show. We love you so much.
Love
Yes,
you too. Love
you
you,
do.
Rachel. Hugs to the boys.
All right, be kind, make good choices, be the best that you can be, guys, and don't have a good day. Have
Have
a
a
great day.
good day. Bye.
Bye.